And 1, and 2, and 1, 2, 3.
Beautiful. Well fucking done.
Look how calm she is.
No, she's fucking tired, probably.
No, woo.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
woo.
She's
She's
wooed
fucking
out.
tired. Yeah,
She's
literally,
zapped
man.
up.
Anyway, Joe, you were saying.
Oh, she's got that whole, like...
Alright, so I'm about to tell a printer story. Now, the audience is going to need a little bit of context on what the big deal for the printer is. One night, morning, day,
It was
unit.
time.
Yep.
Yeah, I was sleeping over at Sarah's house, and I wake up in the morning, and then we're talking, and like, I'm like, holy shit, that's a cool looking printer. And then Sarah's like, you want it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes,
accurate.
I do.
She does this
With
a lot.
things.
Yeah, so...
If I
shocking.
don't use it enough, somebody's gonna get better use out of it.
So, I like to draw and paint and scan things, so that's what I've been doing with it. And so, then, a friend has to stay in my house for like a few days.
Chris.
Yeah, my friend Chris.
Oh.
And, so, let's see. It's my birthday. It's rolling around. And I'm just sitting there. It's not exactly my birthday yet. It's just in a few days. So I'm just sitting there on my computer working. And then he's like, hey man, I gotta print something. And I'm like, oh yeah, the printer's right here. Go for it. This man prints a screenshot of the SpongeBob episode where Patrick and SpongeBob are laughing at the number 24.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then I'm like, oh, dude, this is like, what the hell are you doing here? And then he's like, oh, it's for this project at the kids at the school.
No, it's not.
And then I'm like, and I fucking buy it.
Yeah.
And then it's my birthday, and we're sitting there on the couch in my living room watching like these fights, these wrestling boxing matches or whatever. And then he's like, oh my god, my mom's here. I gotta go talk to her downstairs. So then he goes to like what I assume is his mom's car.
Sure.
And then I'm sitting there, I'm watching these wrestling matches, and then he comes up with a fucking lit ass birthday cake.
Oh, that's
and
rad.
what is on the cake? It's the paper he printed.
Yep.
The image got put on the cake of SpongeBob and Patrick laughing because I was turning 24 years old.
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
And then I'm like, this is the best. I don't think that this could be outdone. Like,
That's some best friend shit.
I'll
This-
home ass to use your printer.
Exactly.
yeah. And I'm like, this is the best, the most clever.
It's fucking wholesome. It's wholesome as shit.
I was blown away.
I'm glad.
I still think about that. And like,
How do you
he
do
was
it?
already like, I think he is my brother, right?
Every day.
And I was like, wow, this really just cements it in fucking stone. I'm like, wow,
He's your homie.
who else would do this for me? And I'm not questioning your guys' like bond, but like, fuck.
Joe, you're allowed to have unique bonds with like individual people, and that is such a wonderful gesture, and was such a wonderful thing for a friend to do.
And it couldn't have happened without the printer, Sarah.
Joe, that
Oh,
makes me
damn.
so, I'm gonna cry.
That's
Do you want a hug?
Yeah.
Come
Oh,
here.
that makes me so happy, Joe.
Okay.
Happy birthday late again, but
Happy
yo,
birthday, dude. It's fucking
I'm
sweet.
so glad you have people like that in your life. That makes me so happy, Joe.
Wholesome
Yeah.
content. That's
This
some
man
good shit.
deserves the best in the fucking world. I swear to God.
Okay. Now I wanted to talk about simulations, but
Yes.
as I talk about it,
Oof.
I'm gonna try to keep it positive, right?
Sure, yeah.
Right.
We can twist it.
And
Sorry.
wholesome. Okay.
Yes.
So let me start this on a wholesome note.
Picking up my brain.
So I knew that we were gonna do a podcast today, and I'm like, Jordan, I have a request. What was the request?
It was simulation theory. You wanted to you actually had a fucking topic. You know, not for once, but like Manchild support actually as a fucking topic.
Yeah, because I got tired of talking about just nothing.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Killers.
Serial killers and relationships.
Although, come on, like that Bjork thing.
That was really good, dude.
Okay.
Really meant.
But
please
like,
pat yourself for that.
yeah, I still like watch and listen to that while I'm working.
I'm
like,
glad you do.
that was such a good.
It really was,
The
dude.
illustration, the
Everything.
That was,
Everything.
that was
fire,
pretty.
the alcohol.
Like, do you
Yeah,
still have
fire.
those pictures too?
Yeah.
Good. Good.
All right.
One
So
day we'll get those framed.
Yes, indeed.
tonight though.
we mentioned simulation theory, and here's the wholesome start for this whole fucking spiel. One day, I'm playing an emulator on my phone of Pokemon Crystal.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
And I'm like, okay, I got a Quagsire. It's a girl Quagsire, and then she's kicking ass. And then I'm listening to this YouTube video about simulation theory and how about pretty much everything around you is pretty much, you can only perceive it through your own senses that you were given by God, Mother Nature, whatever, right?
Whatever force.
And you only have a certain set of like abilities based off of what you have and what you can perceive. So with all of that, things are as real to you as they can be.
Yeah.
Either if you're living in a simulation or in the reality that is real, that isn't a simulation. They're just as real. So then, if you think about the Pokemon game, it's a simulation for like a 10-year-old's life. There's running around, dicking around with monsters. Yep. And then I'm like, when this Quagsire gets hit with a tackle attack, it probably hurts him.
Sure.
And like, when it, like, as far as it knows, it's 4 moves and the hyper potions and shit. This is all that there is, right? So then I'm like, shit. And I was telling you about this. What if we're the fucking Pokemon, we're the fucking Quagsires. Okay. And then I'm like, if that's true,
you don't want to?
Who's pushing the buttons? Who's the fucking 10-year-old holding the fucking Game Boy?
Is that not what we all assumed like reality was?
Yeah, dude.
I never thought about it until I heard this fucking thing on the internet, and then I'm like, wow, okay. And then, if you listen to things about quantum physics, now, okay, so everything's made out of like atoms, right? And then in atoms you have like electrons, right?
Yes.
So what they did was, and they as in scientists, they took a whole beam of like electrons and they shot it at this board. But in the board there was a slit, and they would shoot the electrons into the slit, and through this slit there was another board, and then the electrons would smack the second board, and then they would leave a mark.
Yep.
So they would shoot the electrons through the slit. This is a very...
Yep, no, we're here with you.
Yeah,
but,
so then...
I'm listening.
Yep.
So then they would be like, oh, this is where they all would clump together when we shoot them through the slit.
Yep.
Let's add another slit.
Okay.
But what happened? The electrons would like only fire like evenly through each slit, right? Like this.
Yep.
Now, instead of them firing like all through here, they were like evenly like one here, right?
Yeah.
But then they like tried to determine, okay, well, what is causing the electron to go here instead of here?
Yeah.
And then they just added more slits. And what they found was they would concentrate in certain spots. So you would get a lot of them hitting here, but not a lot hitting here or here.
Okay.
And then it's like, why is it doing that? We can't tell. Because if we're looking at the electron as it's traveling, it's always going to hit in one spot. It always hits in one spot. But if you don't look, and you just let the electron do its thing, and then you look at the board, they're hitting it in waves again.
Interesting.
So the only variable
Was ours.
is us.
So
We can't trust our eyes.
yeah.
No,
As a person who was like very blind, I knew that one.
okay. And so then they did an experiment. How about this? We have a guy with his eyes closed. He can't see, and we have the electrons going in front of him like this. And then he can decide while they're traveling to open his eyes or not.
Okay.
Crazy thing is, when he decided not to open his eyes, and they looked at the record, waves.
Okay.
But when he opened his eyes, cluttered. They were all in one spot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was it the spot where he was looking?
No, like, as long as he could, like, see the electrons moving, then he could, like, tell, okay, they're going this way and they're gonna go there. So basically what it boils down to...
like, consciousness and awareness seemed to be the thing that was affecting.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
Imagine if the Quagsire in Pokemon Crystal knew it was in a game!
Dang, dude.
And then you're just sitting there playing
Sims know.
Yeah.
They know.
The Sims know you're trapping them in the pool.
Right. I've actually never played Sims.
Me neither.
Oh. Yeah, of course.
Boy, have I.
Right.
Yeah.
So...
I had the one Sims game back in the 90s and the mouse wasn't visible, so I never get past the screen where you made your sim.
I don't remember, like, and then there are, like, a bunch of documentaries you can see, And like, I'm not saying, oh my god, we're in a simulation, that we should start a cult.
Even if we were, I don't think it
Where
would
are you gonna
affect
hop out
anything
to,
that we're
man?
doing.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Where are you gonna
I just think it's cool and neat. Okay, that's where I draw the line. But like, in probability terms, in mathematics, if you don't know the probability of like one thing for sure, one way or the other, and you have like certain amounts of things, you split the probability between them evenly. So what it boils down to is either there's a 50% shot we are in a simulation or a 15% shot that we aren't.
Schrodinger's cat, bro.
Yeah.
Kinda.
So imagine, okay, fellas and lady, we're gonna jump you off of a fucking plane, and this parachute only opens 50% of the time. And you're like, I don't know.
I'm probably not doing that.
So then I'm like, only 50% you're in a simulation. Like it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I might jump out the plane anyway.
Yeah.
I might.
I like that.
I
So
might.
then there was another thing.
Because there's a 50%
Right.
chance I'm good, but also even if it doesn't open, like there's still a chance I could live.
And then I heard another thing that wasn't related to simulation theory, but like I think it kind of is. Or maybe it was. It's
I mean,
a
if simulations are
But
thing,
basically,
that's
this guy said that the Buddhists kind of figured all this out because they believe in reincarnation.
Sure.
okay.
Because they're like, okay, so say we have these worlds that we can have these conscious beings live in, and we can have them be in like any experience. Like someone decided this consciousness should go into a dog in this guy's basement, and this consciousness should go into the guy who owns the dog, and we're gonna name him Jordan, right? So then we're thinking, why would they do that? Well, maybe the whatever consciousness they put in Jade has to learn what it's like to be a dog in America,
Sure.
and then when Jade hopefully naturally passes on, her consciousness or soul or whatever the fuck will go into like the next dimension or whatever to learn what it has to learn, because if these guys are building your like world, technically they could build you a world where you could do anything you could ever want, or
This is
like
true.
get anything you ever wanted,
This is
like
true.
heaven, right?
Yeah, sure.
So then, but don't you think it'd be best to like only save that for people or consciousnesses that can handle it?
That's fair.
So if you're not like enlightened enough to handle it,
Okay.
you'll keep reincarnating until you learn your lesson.
Until you kind of get all the experience points or whatever.
Isn't that something that happened towards the end of the
Or
Adventure
just
Time,
out here
where
gaining
Jake,
XP.
I believe, he ends up ascending to like
Yeah.
level like 40 or 50 or something like that
Yeah.
in the afterlife, where Finn is trying desperately to
Yeah.
ascend to that level of enlightenment, but he just can't.
Now I'm gonna say an anecdote, and I want to hear if you guys
Is Finn the dog?
Finn is the human.
There's a human in that show?
Finn,
Yeah.
Jake the dog.
He's a dude with a hat.
That's a hat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has blonde hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
You never seen him take the hat off?
I've never seen the
It's
show.
delicious.
All right.
Oh,
we're
it's
right.
bonkers.
I'm gonna
It
tell you
is.
guys an anecdote. I want to see if
You-
like you guys have anything similar.
What you got, dude?
You might call it a glitch in the Matrix.
Sure.
So I'm at the Athenia Diner one day with one of my friends, and at the corner of my eye, I see like a person eating like this French onion fondue fucking French fry thing.
Mm.
French onion.
Dude, I want to go to VD.
I don't-
so bad.
I don't know. It's like
It's
it
a
had.
vibe. It's a vibe. Vernon Diner.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
I don't know. It was like one of those like crock soup bowls with like cheese on top.
Oh,
Yep.
I can make you one of those that's
Yeah.
fucking to die for.
Right. So like okay.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and like, okay, this person's over there, they're eating that. It's just like a visual thing.
Yeah.
So then they get up and leave. Next party comes into that table. Person sits there, what do they order? And they're eating the same exact thing!
It's
Mm.
I'm like-
good.
I see what's going on here, Matrix.
Yep.
I don't know if I ate the red or blue pill.
It seems like. Well,
Are you Morpheus? I
kinda.
wouldn't doubt
Oh,
it.
he's definitely.
I wouldn't
Kinda.
doubt it. Because
Yeah.
shit, I remember when okay, you guys never heard the story of when I first met Jordan.
No.
Have you ever heard the story?
Have I ever heard the story? I know you guys met at UHeart, and
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you met in like the computer labs area.
Kind of. No.
No, this
It
is
was-
the
it was some
first,
Morpheus
the
Neo
first
shit.
time we met. Yeah.
So he was on some sort of manic episode.
Yeah, it was like a day-long manic episode too. It wasn't even like it didn't evolve into
Right.
anything
So
big.
I'm just chilling on a couch, not too dissimilar from this couch.
Yeah.
And I'm working on some like sculpture projects, like modern art, contemporary like art type things. Just a bunch of kooky, wacky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the upstairs gallery all to myself. I filled it with a whole bunch of wacky shit. And then I'm just sitting there in my notebook. It's late night. And then Jordan comes bounding up the loft like a superhero, and then like he's just talking to me with a bunch of crazy shit, and like saying, "Hey, you know the part in Harry Potter where like the author introduces the main character, and it's like, oh, the big story's happening. They get the letter from Hogwarts right now. You meeting me? This is your letter to Hogwarts."
That's fucking hilarious because it kind of was. Yeah, that's pretty on point.
And then I'm like, and you know me, dog. Like I'm feeding off of his energy. Like I love this guy. So then we're just like jumping around, yelling about crazy shit. I'm showing him all my like sculpture pieces, and then I'm telling him about like this bong water system.
Yep.
It's like you use your bong water to water your weed plants.
Yep.
And then you use the weed you grow from that and smoke that, and you just recycle it.
Yep.
And then it just gets more and more concentrated and potent. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But it made sense to Jordan.
Yeah.
But it made sense to Jordan. So then.
Oh my God, ganja. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That's a fucking throwback,
Wait.
Mike. That's a fucking throwback.
That's actually not a bad idea because I'm thinking like it would have carbon residue, which is good for like nutrient in terms of like plant growth, stuff like that. Like that's not the worst idea I've heard. I don't know how well it would do with like rosin and all that, but like.
So if you think about it, that
Come on,
I
Jake.
think Jordan, without realizing it, he gave me some
Hey, you got it.
pills to eat. Jordan, what color pill do you think I ate?
Blue and purple.
Blue
it's
and purple.
Blue or purple.
He only had a blue and red pill. He didn't have a purple pill.
Well, the whole thing is like the Matrix, right? So
Yeah.
the purple pill or the blue pill, the blue pill is you stay in. The red pill is you
wake up.
hop out. Yeah. Purple is just a combination of the two, I would say. So it's more like you get to stay in, but you're more aware of kind of what's happening and all the kind of
we
working
talked about that in the fucking
extensively.
parking lot behind the dumpster. a lot.
Extensively. Yeah, so it's like the blue pill, it's like you don't really even meet me. Like imagine like that day never happened. Imagine I decided to take a left instead of a right, right?
Yeah.
And we wouldn't be here, or at least not here in the way that we are
It's
here
always
right
been
now.
about purple.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I remember like a few days after that, like I ran into you, and then you were so calm, and then I was like,
I told you it was like a day-long manic episode. It was
I'm
crazy.
like,
It's incredible.
and then I'm like legitimately thinking to myself,
is it the
okay,
same dude?
maybe this isn't the guy. It just looks like him.
Oh, maybe.
It's like his brother or something.
Maybe.
But then like I started running into you again. I was like, oh, you were the guy.
Yep, that would be me. Hello.
Wow.
But yeah,
Yeah, you can give him enough Red Bull and like similar energy level.
Red
yeah,
Bull.
it's Red Bull and
pill.
stress, maybe.
Hopefully not stress.
I think, yeah, no. I think the thing that we're kind of running into here, at least from my perspective, is consciousness, man.
Yeah.
The consciousness. Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I was gonna ask. Remember, like I said, an anecdote of like a glitch in the matrix. Have you ever seen something that made
All
you
the
be
fucking time.
Yeah.
It's
Let me know.
getting to a point
Every
where it's
fucking
just
day.
literally it's every day.
Alright.
I can't even state how many times has
It's
happened.
like mushroom hunting. Once you're aware and once you
Yeah,
see it, it's
literally.
not a conscious
Literally,
thing.
dude. It just
You start just seeing it.
more and
Because
more
you
and more and more
can.
and more. Yeah. And then you start, like, I was talking, like, when me and Kevin first started hanging out, I was, like, all the time, like, dude, and dude, and dude, and,
And
like,
he was always like,
yeah, and he was
what?
like, yeah, come on.
Because think about it, like you're
Get used to
just the presence of your eyeballs and your consciousness can
Yeah.
fuck up electrons and
Very
like
much so.
imagine if it's doing that to electrons, like the literal building blocks of this fucking place.
Yeah. This entire existence that we
Imagine
have.
how much that echoes and ripples and shit.
Well, my thing is, what if the electrons like do know are conscious? Like to
They
some,
are.
yeah, exactly, to some extent. Because if we are made of electrons and we have consciousness, at least to an extent, to do literally this, right? To do
Yeah.
that,
Our understanding of consciousness is so unbelievably limited.
so small.
Like,
Yeah.
there's a literal super internet of mycelium underneath the ground that connects plants just, like, massively. You can have, like, forest fires and damage done to trees, and trees, 10 miles away will know about it, will feel the stress effects from that damage, and it will also show up in the rings on their trees. You can have trees that are 100 miles away that will know about that damage and will also be feeling the effects of that stress because of that mycelium network. They're fully conscious. They know.
Yeah. So imagine the electron is like not necessarily okay. Let's fuck with this dude for a hot second, but it's like okay, so when he opens up his eyes, then we're going to do this, and when he closes his eyes, we're going to do that, just to kind of fuck with the humans. But
honestly, I feel like they could. That would be funny to do.
equally, they can make a fucking smiley face if they want to some extent. But they are also
They might
bound.
want it just to like look at the signs.
Potentially. But in my mind, they're also bound by their laws and their rules. I can't fly necessarily, but I can hop in an airplane and go that. I can't run 100 miles an hour, but I can hop in a car and do that. So
have you ever wondered what shit would be like in the fourth dimension?
Potentially.
Why do you think that we're not?
Equally.
All right. So
What's up?
I can actually kind of demonstrate this.
Okay.
All right. So, actually. All right. 1 second.
I got time.
I got time.
Speaking of which, that's what I always thought the fourth dimension was.
Time.
Like the addition of time.
Essentially,
The
linear
plane.
time as well.
Yeah.
Linear time, yeah.
Linear time.
Mm-hmm.
No, but like it's there's this one video. It's like it walks you through all 11 dimensions in like 15 minutes.
Sure.
And
I think you showed me it, actually.
So this
What?
this guy, right? See him?
Yep.
2-dimensional creature.
Yep. It's
Now-
a dude with an eye, and he's looking forward, by the way.
Let's see if I can.
Yeah. Get up close to that.
So this is a 2-dimensional creature. But if we were to try to hop into his space,
Yes.
like what would happen is first all he'd be able to see
Yeah.
is just the bottom of our feet like coming in, and then like we would go down into his surface of the land of 2 dimensions, because only length and height, width, and then we would have to go through it like this. But instead of a pencil, it's our whole body.
Yes.
And we would start, instead of the tip of the pencil, the bottoms of our feet. And then
JD will fall. Please do not.
it would be our...
She's fine.
And then like this, then he would see this, which would be our waist.
Yep.
And then he would see this, which would be like the top of our head.
Yep.
But like not all at once. It would
Yeah, it
kind
would be more like
it would
a
morph.
onion skin or something like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then... Oh, this is
What you
this is trippy. Okay. I gotta show you this shit. This is some arts and craft shit. 2 dimensions, right?
2 dimensions.
2-dimensional creatures could live in here, right? Because I
Yes.
only have like width and length, right?
When you draw, you do it. Yes.
And then I just drew like a bunch of little lines, like
Yes.
you see on the street, right?
See.
Still only 2 dimensions.
Yes.
Let me show you guys, right? But I'm gonna do this.
Yep. Fold it on itself.
So now I have my pencil still on this 2-dimensional thing,
Yeah.
but to us, because it's now a ring, it's a torus. It's technically still traveling in the 2-dimensional land of the strip of paper, but yeah. Oh, and then you twist the bitch.
Yep.
I didn't make
It's
it.
not long enough, but
I
Yeah,
know
but
what you mean. Yeah.
You get the idea. And now it's like even more mangled in 3D space, but it still thinks it's like 2 dimensions.
Yep, you can
and
still
it still only has
curve
one
it around
side.
2 dimensions.
Right.
Yeah.
So then,
Mobius strip.
right. But like as far as all of this is concerned, it's still only 2. But say, like you said earlier, time. If this pencil right here, and this at this moment of time is right here,
Yeah.
and then like in 2 seconds, it's right here.
Yeah.
If the closest thing we could see to 4 dimensions would be like, instead of you seeing this here now and then seeing it here a second later,
Both at the same time.
yeah, it's just a big rectangle of pencil.
Yep.
It just,
Yeah.
it's the whole motion. But
Yeah.
instead of just that one like little motion, it's literally fucking everything.
Yep. The comic book of
It's
time,
the
dude.
stop motion.
The
Yeah.
comic book of time, the ability to read both the beginning and the end at the same time and realize the entirety of, like, there's this movie you should watch. It's called Arrival. It's about an alien. Yeah, we still have to watch that. It's a good movie.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's about aliens who perceive time differently and how they perceive the entirety of their life in time, and how you would love it actually. You should really watch it. It's
Reminds me
it's
of,
on Amazon Prime.
Reminds me of Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing.
Yeah.
Thing. He can read the entire comic book of time and how everything kind of pans out in one lifeline. But then we get into alternate realities and multiple dimensions where different things can happen. I talk to my kids. I talk to the kids that I work with about this all the fucking time. Where it's like, there's a reality where I lifted that phone and showed you the screen and whatever the fuck was on it. And then there's a reality where I didn't do that. And there's a reality where I chucked it across the way or whatever. Reality where everything that could happen does happen. And that's where I think it's Murphy's Law kind of comes into play.
Infinity is so vast, like, it's more likely than not that all of those have already happened.
Literally. And they're all
We're just
happening
talking about M
stacked on the same timeline in the same way. Like, I don't know, we watched Loki. I don't know if you've seen Loki, but the Sacred Timeline.
We watched Loki.
I mean,
We
watched
Loki.
it.
It's a good one. You should watch it.
I need to watch.
Yeah,
so
there's
many
a
things.
If you need a Disney Plus account, let me know.
So there's this main
I could
timeline.
actually use that.
There's this main
I
timeline.
got you.
It's called the Sacred Timeline. Mike probably knows more about the in depth about this than I do, but
I'm sure you'll give a
Yeah.
good explanation.
thank you. There's this thing called the main timeline,
Maybe.
and that's where like
Maybe.
Okay, Mike, can you explain it?
No, because there might be a secret timeline, but they're not because we don't know about the fucking timekeepers.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, there might be a sacred timeline that has been that was manipulated at some point that is not disclosed. Essentially by one person.
Yeah.
And pretty much, kind of like cherry picks, you know.
Which realities get
Sir-
to stay.
Yes, so what events, you know, that would have potentially led into branching paths from that one line.
Branching timelines.
Yes. So he like gets to keep those and then nips out whatever
Prunes.
potential things will happen.
Prunes.
You know? And so that stuff gets just sent to a void, basically, to be consumed.
It gets sent to, what's it called?
Alive.
Aliyah. It's
Yes.
like basically a, like, think end of days type situation.
Yeah, a being that eats matter and stuff.
Yeah, you see. Did you see Lost back in the day? You ever watch
Where
Lost?
they crash land on that big old island?
Yeah. No. Okay. Well,
A lot of things happen.
giant
I used to
smoke
watch
monster
that Lost
with
and
big
Survivor.
face.
There you
Scary.
go. Very scary.
Very scary.
Yes.
Anyways, but
It's
so
our friends.
that is like the trash can essentially. It like just throws or the delete bin. You know,
Yeah, essentially.
and then it ensures that the timeline is one very complete, secure thing. The guy manipulates it from literally like outside of it, kind of, or like he can view it all from where he is at the very end of time.
Yeah.
At least that's what they say.
Reminds me of that
Allegedly, yes.
that Futurama episode where Fry is like, oh, well, I'm in the future and there's all these futuristic things that I never got to see. And then Farnsworth is like, oh, good news, everyone. We're going to go show Fry everything. But to them, it's like so mundane.
Yeah.
So Fry is like, I want to see the end of the universe. And then just like right away, they take
They
the
drive.
station. Here it
There's
is.
a giant white wall.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Big void.
Shit's crazy, man.
But yeah.
White guy.
What time are we at, Jordan?
It goes-
30 minutes exactly. Usually this is the point where we're like, do we want to go? And then it gets like a little bit deeper, and then I get like a cool little audio bit at the end. A little fulsome bit. So we can go to like 45 if you guys want.
Alright.
Or if you guys are very tired, we can cut it.
I can go either way.
I'm pretty tired.
Alright.
I was just gonna say, we were talking Dr. Manhattan. Read Doomsday Clock. Great DC story. With
Alan
Dr.
Watts. No, Alan Moore. Jesus Christ.
Yes, Alan Moore. And Alan Watts, technically.
Yeah, him too.
Alan Watts.
That's my dog.
That is your dog.
Manhattan. Alan Watts.
No, his name's Gus. But,
Oh,
Gustavo?
yeah.
Gustafur.
Gustafur.
Thank you. But when Kevin met him for the first time, he said that my dog looks like Alan Watts and has been calling him Alan ever since. But no, it was Ram Dass. Never mind.
Yes.
Rhonda.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I dated
that's
a
my
kid
dude.
who was Ram Dass's caregiver.
Yep.
Whoa.
No, his friend was Ram Dass's caregiver until he died. Yeah. Jordan got upset that I didn't make the
Reach
connection
out.
for him
Do
Right.
something. Be the
before he
plug.
died.
Be the plug for that entire saga, but it's alright.
He was a dick.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, exactly. Such is life. It is what it is.
I'll see you guys in the next reincarnation.
I'll see you
pretty
next
In
time
the
on
next
Dragon Ball Z.
simulation.
Yeah.
On the next time of Dragon Ball Z, will our heroes actually manage to put together another podcast to defeat Cell?
Most likely.
Find out on,
Perhaps. Do you want to do the...
on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Will Joseph be able to input the grids for Monday and Tuesday in time before it's time to go visit Jordan, or will he be too late?
We shall see.
Will the people at
You're good.
Keep going.
the cable place where Joe works,
The game play.
will they be able to get their shit together
Yeah.
before Frieza reaches his final form? Find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Also known as Manchild support.
I didn't want to dox where I worked.
That's probably a good idea.
You can edit that, right?
Oh my god, yeah. I can just
Just
put
a
a beep.
Yeah,
Just a
please.
beep.
Please.
That's a beep.
Yeah.
Where Joe works.
I could definitely do that for you.
Yeah.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this episode of Manchild Support with Joe and Joe. We'll catch you on the next episode. Is anybody else want to do a sign off? Have a lovely night, etc., etc.? Okay. We'll catch you guys later.
Snitches get stitches.
Snitches get stitches. Drink more water.
Definitely that.
Yep.